Okay, good morning, everybody. Hello. Ooh, it's been a while, and apologies. Yeah, I know I'm sick, getting over something, healing, and lots moving around the heart, around grief, relationships, all these feelings, and oh, it's been like super intense. And yet I feel like everyone's going through this. I'm witnessing it in people, I'm witnessing it in my own life, and I'm seeing the power of healing relationship wounds, the energy around self love, around accepting the self. And so I'm here today. I just wanted to share quick. Usually, for the summer, we've kind of taken a break from the Aurora 713 gatherings, which were a Zoom gathering. And I've been like reevaluating how I want to show up. And so I'm hoping to do more lives. So there's going to be another live coming up on the 3rd of September, I believe it will be. Probably this transition into the new moon as like the beginning of the month, I guess we could say, and the energies of that. So I invite you, if this is something that you want to connect with, join me again then, because we're entering into the Virgo new moon. And this like to me feels a lot about like this renewal of the self-love, and Virgo being that virgin energy. And so what I wanted to come on here today is just talk a bit about this relationship. You can let me know in the comments, like, where are you noticing you're hitting kind of like the wall or experiencing things in relationships right now? For myself, I'll just share, I'm noticing and have been noticing, I want to say it's since like the Gemini and I think Uranus conjunction, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Gemini, Uranus being in Gemini, that's what I want to say, which I believe switched over in June and will be going until July next year. That there has been this like upheaval of relationships, of who do I allow in my relationship sphere? Who is the closest? Who do I trust? Who do I want to engage in? Who like builds me up and I build them up as well? Because, relationship is a two-way street, right? And for many of us who've been like empaths, or who are, or people who maybe are a bit more tuned into energy, many of you probably are that. A sensitive person, it can read the room, however you want to identify that. There tends to be a bit of like an overgiving of energy. Okay, we can nurture and give out to people overly without giving to the self. And oftentimes, what happens with this is there comes up a feeling of resentment. There can come up feelings of like passive aggressiveness. And I'm noticing this within myself. I've noticed this within others. And the way I realize it too is that when it's showing up in others, this is maybe a way you could tell if it's like a mirror for you. To check your own energy, or if it's someone else's behaviors. Okay, and all the birds flying behind me. But it's like if someone is expressing or showing up in a particular way, and you are able to show up in that engagement in a neutral place, so you don't feel emotionally agitated or upset, or you're just like witnessing. You can witness without an attachment. To me, that means that that's that person, that individual's stuff to work through, and you are just witnessing it. But if you are noticing that you are becoming triggered by what someone's saying or doing, then that means usually there's a shadow aspect. There's something internal for yourself that wants to be looked at. Ugh. Okay, forgive me. I'm going to do the best I can to speak through this. I was supposed to teach Reiki yesterday, and I had to reschedule it because I was like, ugh. So I just want to like touch to this fact of this resentment, this energy that's coming up around relationships that can come into like the shadow of passive aggressiveness, of resentment, of anger, of you then doing what I like to do, which is the like self-righteousness, like, oh, I'm so much better than you. I don't need you. I don't even like those people. Like that type of energy. Okay. this need, high Marinen, ooh, I like that. That energy of separation, that's what it is. It's separation. We are basically just perpetuating the same feelings of not loving, of not feeling love towards self when we do those things. And right now, with Gemini and Uranus, I believe it is, not an astrologer necessarily, so if I'm off with that, please, someone with knowledge on that, let me know. But these two are going to show us like the polarity of how we can be in relationship and what is no longer serving us in relationship. You know, I had an old friend reach out. We had some conflict, I guess we could call it, last year, and I'd hoped to resolve the conflict, you know, as it was happening, because I feel like that's appropriate. Thank my parents for that teaching of don't go to bed angry. And yet the individual wanted to just kind of cut ties up until maybe a month ago now. I want to say a few weeks, where they were like, hey, I'd like to meet. And we met. And it was a realization for me then of like, I could see like this relationship was coming to an end, and it just escalated into conflict, you know, into two people not being able to see like eye to eye, because that was the end of the relationship. So whoever needs to hear that, you know, it's like, it's okay. People are going to come in. You might have had people come in the last few weeks. Again, Mercury retrograde, which is when this individual returned, to finish the unfinished business. And it's up to you to choose. You don't need relationships external to yourself to make yourself whole. And this is kind of what I was hoping to do here, is like, we're going to do a process of like forgiveness, you know, and releasing, because that's what forgiveness does. It's not about saying, oh, what you did to me is okay and I allow it. It's more, okay, I now release you and your actions or the things that have happened between us, so that I can be sovereign, I can be free and in my own power and move forward. So this is an important part. We can't just hope for new relationships when we haven't like kind of healed or reviewed, looked at, released the previous ones. And that can happen by people either coming back into your life, like this individual did in my life, or we can just have it come into our awareness through, you know, inklings of conversations or insights that come during different times of the day or in meditation. And it's up to us to then take that as an indication of like, okay, there's something here maybe for me to look at. And I want to just speak to how sometimes you might not know what that is, but that's okay. So this is where we use question, asking question. Okay, what is this about? Okay, spirit, like, what do you want me to know about this that I may be not really allowing myself to see? You know, what can I understand more deeply about this situation? What needs to happen here so that I can release this state of consciousness? There's just like a level of awareness. Again, love is on one end of the spectrum, and we have fear, separation at another end. And so we're kind of like moving through these different levels at any given moment. So this first step, I'm going to invite you to just tune into maybe what are relationships or things happening in your life right now. And we're going to ask these angels, these guides of the luminous light, those galactic beings that wish to support us. I work a lot with the Palladian, Lemurian energy, so calling those beings to support you if that feels right for you. And if not, use whatever guides, ancestors, and spirit teachers that you would like, just to be here and hold this space as we do this work together. Maybe we tap into our womb space, that place of the center of gravity in our pelvis, so that we can do this from a grounded place. And so whatever relationships have been showing up for you, or the wounds around relationship, maybe you're like feeling, you know, people don't want to hang out with me, or, you know, these people in my life keep abandoning me. My partner keeps like failing to show up in this particular way, whatever the thing might be. Okay. Just recognizing whatever that is. And having some gratitude for that experience. You might not see it right now. Like, why would I be happy about this or grateful? Being like, wow, thank you, person. Thank you, situation, for being a teacher for me, so that I can evolve into this place of wholeness, with spirit, with myself, with love. And so if you want to write these down, these people or things, if it helps you to keep track, you can do so. Otherwise, just consciously naming them silently or to yourself, the people, the things, the situations or events that have happened in terms of relationship where you have felt particular energy that maybe it's just heavy and you don't want to feel it anymore. Instead of pushing it away constantly, we're doing what shadow work is. We're looking at it and calling it and bringing it forward into the light. Be like, okay, I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you, you know, high school friends who didn't want to hang out with me or chose to hang out separately or whatever the case might be. You know, these things come from our past. They can come from recent events. And once you've had these kind of listed, just going through, giving them the gratitude, and now just saying, I release you. Thank you. I release you. If it helps you to say, I forgive you, you could say, I forgive you. You can use Ho'oponopono, the Hawaiian forgiveness technique of I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I thank you. Because remember, in relationship, it's again a two-way street. So if you've done something or had something done to you, it's probably because you too are doing it. I love that part of it. Oh my gosh, I've noticed that. I'm in a sisterhood and we basically had a dissolving of some of like the membership or the sisters. And in the context of that conflict, I noticed the anger and resentment I was having towards an individual, and also at the same time realizing that anger and resentment was towards myself because I noticed the same behaviors in me. Okay? And so as you continue to release and just say, I release, even if you don't know what it is you're releasing, I release this. I see it. Even if I don't see it, I know it's there and I'm going to release it because I no longer wish to carry this heavy burden of separation. Because you know, even if you don't know what it looks like or how it feels, because maybe you've never experienced love in like, you know, in a way that you think you can comprehend, like you have, like your soul in the physical body. So you have, and it's there. There's going to be some remembering. You know, we're going to hopefully tap into that as the energy is flowing. And so we're going to take 3 releasing breaths now, just as a kind of neutralization of this energy that you've released. And so on empty lungs, inhaling and letting go. And inhaling deep from your womb and letting go. And one more, inhaling and letting go. And I'm just going to call in this plant because I keep looking up at this tapestry I have on my wall that my friend gave me. And I keep seeing the number 33. I don't know, there's like so many numbers, but 33 keeps showing up. And it looks like 33 is tied to Rosier Capuchini. I've never heard of that. I don't know. Is that like some type of rose? It looks kind of more like it looks to me like a 5-petaled rose, which is interesting. We could say in a way, is that tied to Netzach, I believe. Okay, so we're going to call into that energy of that sphere of Netzach. Oh, I got this right behind me. I want to say it's that, but that showed up this morning, so maybe there's a reason for that. The Tudor rose, I believe, is what it might be called. Not sure if that's a color. But we're going to call to that energy. So you can imagine the sphere of green, emerald green. There's a reason why I wanted to sit here, you guys. I haven't sat here in like months to make a video. Calling in that energy, the energy of Venus. If it helps to have your eyes closed, you can do so as we go through this process. This is an intuitive process. If you're new here, this is kind of what I do. So just take it or leave it. You might notice nothing, you might see nothing. That's fine. Just trust that the process of energy shifting is happening no matter what your experience is. And I invite you to see a 5-petaled rose. That's 5-petaled flower. Imagining it maybe even lighting up in your body, almost like you as the petal of your head being one of the petals, your arms being 2 of the petals, and your legs, okay? And imagine before you now an emerald green door. And you're about to open this doorway into a world of something so much bigger and greater than you've ever imagined, okay? And so as you open the door, we have 7 people on here, which is that number, which is funny. As you open that door, that emerald green door, enter into a scene of nature, whatever this looks like to you. Your mind's eye will create it. You might just get a sense of energy in your body. And walk through this doorway and take 3 steps beyond the door into this world. And there is a path. You can imagine this path in gold, yellow bricks, or however you wish to identify it. And you walk on this path and it trails until you arrive at a sacred garden. And you enter into this garden and you find yourself in a comfortable spot. And next to you is a bush of these 5-petaled roses, these 5-petaled flowers, the Tudor rose. And just like the queen or Alice in Wonderland, they talk with the plants, the roses, the flowers, just to start to have a conversation with this flower, this 5-petaled flower. Maybe you invite it to introduce itself and you introduce yourself by name. And now just share with it a bit about your relationship situation, how you're finding yourself being triggered, or the wounds that have been showing up about abandonment or rejection or avoidance, whatever it might be that you are experiencing currently. Just let this rose, this flower, let it know what's on your heart. Really getting to the depth of your issue, of your concern, what's on your heart. And notice how this flower, this bush of flowers, starts to respond. Maybe you receive words back or messages back, maybe a gentle movement in its leaf, kind of like rustling. Maybe there's other movement external. Maybe nature starts to like awaken a bit more. And we just invite this flower to gift you something now. So receive whatever gifts, messages, treasures the flower has for you. This is going to be something that's going to support you in the healing of these relationship situations. And you take that gift, you take that message, you place it in your pocket, in your heart, however you wish to, letting it, like kind of embodying it into your being, your essence. And you thank the flowers. You thank the nature around you in this sacred sanctuary, this garden. And we call to that red goddess, Babylon, the energy of understanding both our light and dark. So if it feels comfortable for you to do so, just inviting her to guide you on your path. This is a feminine energy that has been so supportive for me on my path of understanding my worth, of tapping into who I really am, how I want to show up, and this invitation for us all to tap into that energy and really embrace ourselves. So if there's any messages that come through here from her, or anything else as you continue in breathing into the space, just receive. And you're about to birth yourself new as you return back now, walking on that golden winded path, returning and leaving the garden that you've been in, returning back towards the 3 steps that will go back through that emerald green door. And when you get to the first step, stepping, breathing out, and you step on the second step, breathing in and breathing out. And you step on the last step, and you breathe in and out, leaving all that is so that you can come and be birthed new as you move through that emerald green door. And you close that door behind you, knowing you can return there at any time as you wish to connect to the flower, to connect to any of these energies of Netzach, this Venusian energy. And just tuning in with how your body is now. Here in the physical space again, maybe noticing the room, the sounds around you, where you're sitting or laying down. So we thank those guides, those angels, those beings of light, Babylon, the flower, all those faces in which we've connected to today, that this can be part of your renewal in the relationship sense, okay? We are all struggling with this. The people you are upset with or have some conflict with, they too are going through the same thing. That's what's so ironic about this. And here we are with our text messaging, our separation through communication that prevents us from really understanding or seeing or knowing that other people are like behaving in a way that's completely not even how we're perceiving it. You know, how many times have you done it? I know I just did this yesterday where I'm texting someone, I'm like, oh, how come they're not doing this thing? Or how come this is their response? When I think, then I create stories of why they're doing what they're doing or behaving like they're behaving, when in actuality has something, it's because of something completely different. It's their own situation. And so this is about the self-love, this healing of relationship. It's going to guide us more into ourselves, into being like, so I just want to say like a pillar, the stability in yourself, so that you don't get rocked by relationships as much. You know, we're still going to have issues, but you'll be able to more easily notice your roots going down, like a tree, a big tree with huge roots that can sway in a storm, but doesn't get like knocked over, okay? Oh my gosh, I don't believe I had the energy to do this, you guys. So thank you to those of you who tuned in. As I mentioned, moving forward, we're going to be having, you know, more lives, probably weekly, but the one at the new moon on the 3rd is going to, or 3rd, 4th, whatever that is, it's going to actually be more of like the energy update where we will tune into the energy of the month, which we did. So those are card pulls and intuitive messages and guidance for you personally and collectively. Okay, so if you want to come back to that and be notified, hit the subscribe button. Hey, Andrew, I've been quiet while a cat is clinging to me. You are that we are all going through life. You're correct, I think. Sorry, there's like a heart there. I can't read it. It's like, won't show the whole message. Thank you, Andrew, for that. Yeah, we are. Yeah, and I've missed the community here, just noticing like sometimes the separation and isolation or hermiting needs to happen so that we can come to terms with our own truths and where we are within the collective energy, within those relationships. I hope you're getting all the cat love today. Yeah, and I hope to see you all again soon. Um, if you're interested in learning about more about like working with the goddess Babylon, I have a book. I believe the link's in the description. Um, Living the Great Mystery. It's called Words from Babylon, and it's just a short, step-by-step kind of guide on tapping into some of the stuff so that we can feel whole and know our power and really tap into our worth. So I invite you to check that out. Uh, I would feel honored to have been able to share those words from her. And until the next time, I will see you guys very soon. Okay, take care.